It's time for trigger warning.
Trigger warning! Fuck your feelings, you little snowflake! Triggerwarning.tv.
How dare you!
Hello and welcome to Trigger Warning. I'm Hayden Hewitt and I'm joined as ever by Sturmfuhrer Graham Booth. How you doing, Pickle?
I made the mistake of telling some of my friends about the you smearing me as a paedophile.
Oh.
And guess what happened on Saturday?
You were put on the sex offenders register.
No, the entire pub was just taking turns to call me a pedo, very loudly.
Well,
So,
people understand that I am a bringer of great truths. That's what I do. And, people are catching on. It's like I said on the phone that you'll notice I've not been calling you as much lately.
No.
Because it does look like, too many people are catching on. It's only a matter of time. And as much as I said it would be very funny if you were put on the sex offenders register, it might strain our relationship.
Be a little bit upsetting. Would be a bit upsetting.
How's everyone doing out there in Trigger Warning? We got Robert Morgan.
There's a lot, isn't there? Hey, thanks for the tweet, man.
Yeah, thank you, mate. Blind Fury Morgan Evans, Happy Dog, Smoke Steve, how you doing, fella? Young Alex is, of course, rocking around, doubtless drinking. Nat Lynch is in. Hello, Nat. How you doing? The American Rebellion. Andrew, Dippy Derrick, and some others will try and catch up with you as we go.
American Rebellion, is that? Could you let me know something? Is that like you do this for socialism, like solidarity? Is this for sort of rock and all that? Is there a hand thing for Trump? I guess maybe it's thumbs up, but is there?
It's the okay sign, isn't it?
Yeah, well he does do that a lot, doesn't he? And he does the thumbs up.
I think what you
quite
do
a
when
bit.
you see another MAGA person, you give them the okay, then a little slow wink, and then run your tongue around your lips.
Yeah. Hey, that's really common though. People like the whole meme is people inappropriately doing it, isn't it? Just so that Vox and BuzzFeed go, see, definitely Nazis. These are all white people, and it's like, okay.
Who else we got? Just got a couple of quick. Forever Tipsy, and a cup of tea. Fantastic.
Oh, I've got a cup of tea. Oh, it's my last cranberry tea bag, Aidan.
What the fuck are you talking about? Cranberry tea bags?
Oh, it's a cranberry.
What kind of
and
beta cook bullshit is this
raspberry.
now?
I've had a sore throat. Okay, somebody recommended it to me. I have my fruit tea and I put honey in it, and it helps. It's nice.
You're such a disappointment to me, Booth.
I had a sore throat. What can I do? And you know what? I got a taste for them. I've never liked them my whole life, but I've developed a taste now. It's quite good.
If anybody else would like to become the co-host of Trigger Warning, just let me know, because this guy's gone totally soy.
What the fuck are you talking about?
Cranberry fucking tea.
I'm sat here defending gun rights and individual. It's like, oh, you like tea, do you?
No, there's nothing wrong with liking tea. I'm going to stop you right there. Liking tea is proper and manly, but proper tea. The kind of, in a tea bag that's strong. Dash your milk, away you go. You don't have fruit in it, Graham. You don't have fruit in it.
The milk was the problem, Hayden. The milk was the problem. That's the issue.
Oh, you're lactose intolerant now.
No, it created more mucus.
That's how beta you become. You can't even handle lactose.
It created more mucus.
Peanut allergy.
And I was coughing for a full month.
That'll be it. He'll turn up at the fucking studio. Oh, nobody open a bag of peanuts. I swell up.
Here we go. There we go. I've got my angry lights.
Fucking millennial. Fucking millennials. It's unreal. Unreal. Tell you. I worry, Graham. I worry for the future. I'm not that well up on the news this week, if I'm honest, Graham, because I've been just killing myself trying to raise your work.
I'm sure you'll have an opinion regardless.
I've always got an opinion regardless, but today on Twitter I was called a boomer.
Why?
Well, on this occasion, because somebody posted that sex is not binary and can be changed. So I said, I'm afraid that's not actually true. I understand you're emotional about this, but there's no need to be stupid. Sex can... Well, define sex. Okay, which one of the many differences between men and women would you like me to define? Genetic, hormonal, skeletal, muscular, brain. Where's your... See, I knew you didn't know. That's what I got. Why don't you just stick to whatever it is you're doing, boomer? It's like, but name one person that's ever actually changed sex, and they just started posting memes that every scientific, including gynecologists, believe that you can change sex, which is bullshit. And
yes.
it made me angry to the point I shook my fist.
The interesting one at the moment that certain publications and certain people are using is they use phrases like transgender female when they're talking about a trans woman, and it's like, well, no, you're not a female then, are you? You're a transgender male who lives as a woman. But they've started slipping. It's funny because 5 years ago they were like, look, okay, will you just get it through your head? Sex and gender are not the same thing, and now people. Did you hear that? Did you hear that? Like Bollywood music really loud. Anyway, but like once people went, all right, sex and gender aren't the same thing. They all went, oh, and then just pushed it further. And they've proved that the lunatic, super Christian right wing, fundamentalist, crazy people, right? Where they're like, well, you can't blur these lines because you never know where it'll stop. And then they're just like, but now it's happening. They're like, no.
It's reached further than I thought.
Yeah.
Because Dawn Butler, who hopes to be the deputy leader of the Labour Party, did a television interview today where she said that a child is born without sex.
Yes.
It's assigned, basically. Now, Richard Madeley sat weirdly on the fence. He disagreed strongly, said, I might even agree with you. This is a deputy leader of what is now the second largest political party in the United Kingdom, saying children are born without sex. It is assigned. This is madness, because all this is doing is setting the people with the mental issues, the dysphoria, whatever the fuck it is, for a mighty fall when they discover that you can't actually change your sex, that children are born male or female, or in very few cases they call it intersex now then, but even then they're usually male or female.
Yeah, but all right, what we're talking about, if you take the entirety of my screen here, the entirety, me, everything else in the background, right? What they're talking about amounts to that spot there in terms of the ratio.
Not even that.
It's
but
just
even
nothing.
then, they're usually actually male or female. They just have different genitals.
All of this, you are born a woman, you are born a man, that's the end of it. I can't remember who said it now, but some people are born with 9 fingers, but you don't stop selling gloves, do you? That's it. And I love Dawn Butler as well, because she was the same one who advocated for reparations, which was in the UK. Reparations means, because if we go too far back, we're going to admit how shit it was for everyone. Reparations means free university for non-whites. That's literally the policy that she was advocating for.
Fucking disgraceful, isn't it?
Your education charge is being based entirely on the colour of your skin. Nothing to do with your socioeconomic background, nothing to do with lifting people up, just literally, are you not white? Okay, well then you get free. That was her idea of reparations. See, she wanted to roll that out over the whole. I was talking about this on Saturday because I was talking to a Labour voter. Go on.
My argument about reparations. Obviously, it's not something we come across too often in this country. But my argument has been that yes, I know racism exists and things of that nature.
Of course, yeah.
But surely, most of these people who have iPhones, Nike trainers, 3 square meals a day, all those sort of things. I mean, that's why the poorest element of society, just the average person, they've done quite well out of it as well. It's been to their benefit as well, whether you like it or not, as horrible as it sounds. And yes, there are still horrible things in society, but they're still benefiting from that shitty time in our history. That's just the way of it.
Well, it's still kind of shitty, man. There's still a lot of slavery going around. There's still a lot of exploitation. This stuff hasn't gone away. There's slavery in this country right now. It happens quite a lot, actually. Thousands and thousands of people are caught every single year. It's horrific, and it's weird because some of the people who are caught and abused in such a manner, they don't even see themselves as victims, really. They're just, oh, he was a bit pushy. And he's like, mate, you've been living as a slave for 3 years. You've got to doing tarmac. But yeah, some of the people. But you know what? They're the good people that Labour forgot. They're the people that just fucking get on with it. 3 years as a slave. It's like, I'll be all right. Just get a flat. Good people, Aidan. Good people.
Good people. The best. The best people. I'm just a pisser because there's that guy, and I've forgotten his name, and I can't be arsed looking it up. Remember when Dominic Cummings said, I want misfits and weirdos?
Yes.
I still need to get my application in. I must write to him. I do mean to do that. I'm going to write to him.
I think he might be a touch too old. I think he was looking for, like...
If he thought that guy's Twitter was a fucking car crash.
I know. And you can add eugenics to the many words that most people on Twitter don't seem to know the meaning of.
But you know what makes me laugh? They're saying about him supporting eugenics. Our friend Mr. Ripley said something very similar in a post. I'm like, isn't it amazing how it's people on the far reaches of the right enjoy the idea of eugenics, as do those on the far left? Because look at mermaids.
Oh, yeah.
Tavistock. That's eugenics. That's eugenics. They're getting rid of gay people. That's what they're doing. Getting them while they're young and making them trans. And thus increasing their likelihood of suicide when they get older, because that's good, right? Giving them untested drugs. I think
part of the issue is, though, that, eugenics is, it's an evolutionary trait as well. It affects who you find attractive. Everyone participates in it on some level. They do. Whether you want to or not, just purely by who you find attractive, who you want to procreate with. You can't help it. You can't help but find someone that you would consider a positive for your offspring. It's built into you. Even if you don't think of that when you find someone attractive, you do. It's just, but it's part and parcel, and it's in there. Did you see that thing that
part and parcel? I've got Sadiq Khan on the show.
No, but what was he called? Richard Thingy, the scientist fella. Richard Dawkins, he tweeted that, didn't he? And he said it was immoral and, reprehensible and all that stuff. And he's like, but you can't deny that it would work. And it's like, people have lost their fucking mind about that. But it's like, well, of course it would.
Cancel Richard Dawkins.
I know. But yes, it is immoral. But yes, it would work. It works with every other species. It works with our species. Every single one of us participates in it. That's why you end up, if you're super woke, you end up with someone super woke. There's a evolutionary reason for that. Every single one of us participates in it. But you open up Twitter and it's just like, oh, for fuck's sake!
Oh, it's just
Jesus Christ!
Blind Fury Triple X says Labour are going for the transgender vote. They're doing exactly what the Liberal Democrats did, which is going for the Twitter vote.
Yes,
which is really insane, because you lose horrifically when you try to appeal and appease the fucking lunatics on Twitter. They're all very good at doing pylons and trying to cancel your life, but they're absolutely fucking useless at realising that Twitter is not the real world, and when you get out there's many millions more people that don't actually fucking like the way you think or speak. And they all say the same thing, but these are nice things. They're being nice to people. What could possibly be wrong with that? Well, there's nothing wrong with being nice to people. It's just when an absolute cunt like you tells me how to do it, calling me the worst names in the world, it kind of gets my back up.
Yeah, that's exactly it, isn't it? A fella's just lost his case in America, actually, for being forced to use pronouns, and then you're losing his job on the back of it. Because they said that his insisting on using Mr. Was amounts of bullying, which it could have been. But, when I think back to school, very few of my teachers called me by my real name. They all had incredibly disrespectful nicknames for me because I was a little sod. I was a class clown. I was always making a tit of myself, and I was always very noisy and getting attention. So they pretty much all had derogatory nicknames for me. But it wasn't a bad thing. We're falling into a strange thing at the moment where because you are trans. It's that phrase again, isn't it? It's the bigotry of low expectations.
Yeah.
And it's like no, you can't be around humor. You can't be debased. You can't be teased in any way or whatsoever. Just because a few of you, well, quite a few of you, by the looks of things, are just severely mentally ill and shouldn't be in a university in the first place.
No.
You can't handle that. Some of my teachers would be exactly the way you were at the top of the show, taking the piss out of me for drinking me fruit tea. I'm not going to cry tonight over that. I'm not going to lose sleep. That's not harassment. It's not. It's just jibes. It's just But
Banter.
If I can't take that, I shouldn't be sat here talking to you.
No, of course not.
And if he can't take that, he shouldn't be at fucking university. Because what's he going to do in the real world when he gets his job?
What I love about debating these people is the way they insist that you're upset. Oh, you do a show, trigger body, you're clearly triggered. I'm all right, mate.
Yeah, I'm great when I'm on Twitter. Not when I'm chatting to you. But
a great many people seem to completely overestimate their emotional impact on me. And it's ever been thus. You see it on Live Leak a lot. I clearly upset you. I don't fucking know who you are.
I am literally about to forget this conversation, man. Like, it's gone. It's done.
I'll only remember it if you're either particularly offensive or particularly funny. The two are often interchangeable. But it's the technique they use. Oh, you're upset. You're being irrational. Dude, I am definitely not upset. The only time one said to me, oh, you're all triggered, and it was a paedophile that said it. Of course I'm fucking triggered.
Yeah.
You're a filthy fucking paedophile.
You want to fuck kids.
Yeah.
It's so funny, actually, because, like, you rip the piss out of me loads, but it's half term at the moment, and I'm nearly fucking broken. I am. There's just shit everywhere, and my nerves are shot. But parents keep just dropping kids off at my house, and not one of them comes in.
Everyone, even the parents. Have you been there 10 minutes? Every parent in that school has gone, beta cook, he'll do what he's told.
No, but they know I love it. The problem is, it's because I chat to the kids loads, and I'm always playing with them and fighting and stuff.
Nobody leaves their kids with me. Nobody leaves their kids with me.
It's just funny. It's a funny, comparison to my lives. I made with you just going fucking pedo. And then it's like,
Graham,
just
all
little
you're
girls
doing
running around.
is offering proof.
What?
Oh, the kids love it at my house.
Dude, I still, I don't know, she'll be asleep now. It's okay, I can talk about it, but I still don't know what to say because, like, obviously she's had friends stay over here, so she wants to stay at other places, and I'm kind of like, how do I say, like...
Just explain to her that the world's full of pedos and there's a good statistical chance
Yeah.
every single one of those people are, and that's an end of it.
I mean, obviously I'm not going to let her go somewhere where I think that's going to happen. If there's even the remotest, there's already been places, people where I'm like, no.
Yeah.
But with all the best will in the world, you never know. You never 100% know. And
No.
I'm like, how do I explain that if someone goes down there, scream and keep screaming until you get brought home? But even then, I'm thinking, will that even work? I don't know.
Just
I don't know.
give her a knife.
Well, I've told her. Oh no, that's the thing. I'm like, I want to protect her innocence, and yet when it even goes, she just talk about some boy pushing her at school, and I'm like, oh mate, it's just boys being. He won't have thought about it. You punched me in the eye the other day, and you have errors of judgment when you fall, and then I want to protect her innocence and be all nice, but then I drop down and go, but if anyone does really hurt you, I'm going to kill him. Just straight away, I will get my biggest knife, I'll kill him. And this just like, okay, Daddy. It's just like, oh, fuck, I'm not doing well.
It's good that you're instilling the confidence in her to talk to you about minor altercations at school for fear that you'll go around and stab them.
Well, no, that's the thing. She always tells me, and I always say, look, some boy pushed you in the yard. Boys are just fucking stupid, man. Do not take it personally. And she's a good girl. She's such a good girl. I took her to see Sonic yesterday.
Oh, yes.
And it was hammered. Monday morning, it was the first showing, and it was full.
Was it
that
good?
Film is going to make a fortune. Yeah, man, it was good. It was a good family film. Like, as I told you when I texted you, like, the algorithm on YouTube has been feeding her YouTube Let's Plays of Sonic. She watches this retard dude. He is just retarded playing games like and she loves him. obviously because they're a similar mental age. But he's been playing Sonic the Hedgehog, so she knew all the characters. And as we were queuing, she went, "Gotta go fast, gotta go fast." She kept saying it, not realizing that's like a meme. Well, and he says it in the movie. It's proper fan service. It does all the shit you need. It does all the stupid Sonic-y stuff, and even Jim Carrey's bearable as well. It was fine. It was good. Speaking of that, though, you finally watched Ford versus Ferrari, didn't you?
Oh, what a film! What a wonderful, manly 2 hours of my life that was. Just a blokey movie. They had fights.
Yeah, everything.
They used spanners and hammers and things. Well,
they threw stuff at each other. They had fights that they were still friends at the end of as well. And the girls just went, "Well, do you want a drink, eh?" And it was just, like, there's a few films I mentioned to you and I'll go, "That's all right." But with that one, I kept texting you because I'm like, Aiden's going to fucking love this.
Oh, they should make more films like it. It was basically, if any of you guys haven't seen it, I mean, guys, no offense, ladies, it's not for you. I'm sure there'll be another 50 Shades of Shite or whatever it is that some remake of Emma. There's always a remake of Emma. Anything by Jane Austen, you've got those.
It's about childbirth.
Yes, yeah, and flowers and periods and things. God, that fucking film director on Twitter would have a fucking embolism if she had that. The one that said you were sexist if you didn't enjoy things like Emma and shit. I don't like Bird's films. I'm sorry, I just don't enjoy them. I like cars and explosions and tits and zombies. That's all I want in a film. I'm not very intelligent. I don't need. If I want to see something sexy, I'll go to fucking YouPorn.
I know. But again, in terms of, we might have been derogatory or whatever there, but the exact opposite.
I meant every word.
Ford versus Ferrari is fucking spot on.
It's wonderful.
All that Alan Partridge style stuff he says when he starts going fast, and he's like, "Oh yes, this is speed. Yes,
Come on now, darling. Oh yes. Oh yes.
Fucking great.
Superb.
I had a little man tear at the end there, like, "Go on, son. Go on."
Oh, it was when he at the end. Well, it's no secret if you've ever read about the guy. He carked it, but when they showed it in the film, bit sad. Very well acted by Matt Damon, strangely enough.
Damon did well. Yeah, he did.
Christian Bale was almost bearable in a film. Great film. Proper film. Proper movie.
Happy Dog's saying that neither of us could fix a car or have a fight. We got some interesting news around that, though, haven't we?
I can't fix a car. I can't. No, I've not had a fight in over 25 years.
Well, no one will come near me these days. I've got a reputation.
I don't think we should break the news just yet.
No? Okay.
I think we should hold on to that because I want to make sure it's all signed, sealed, and delivered. And
Yeah. But things are moving.
Oh, yeah, and there's a lot of work to do to make that particular thing happen. By the way, guys, we're back in the studio on Thursday. 100%. I've just got to secure a couple of cables. At minimum, we'll have 2 cameras. That third one's still being a bit dicky about charging. So, but at minimum, we'll have 2. Definitely 2. Because there's only one of them I've ever used. Those 2 Canons. So one I've never ever used, and I took it out of the box the other day, and there's just this blinking light, and I've got no idea what it means. I'm sure the instructions would tell me, but being a man, I don't do instructions.
You just away with you.
Yeah, I don't read instructions. That's just another bit of shit in the box to throw away. Real men don't read it, except on flat pack furniture. Then you really have to. But on everything else in the world, no, a real man does not.
Then you're in charge of the instructions. You need to know where they are at all times.
I
shall read these.
Yes, these are for me, so that I can do this badly and have bits left at the end that I'm not entirely sure of. And those shitty jobs like putting the plastic things in the screws at the end. You just had 5 hours swearing at a child's bed, and now you're expected to go around and put little plastic things in screw holes.
Do you know what? I that's pretty much kind of how it went with me and Soph building the doll's house that we got for Christmas. And but she did both parts. I had the instructions. She did the majority of the construction, and then did the little bits at the end with covering the screws. And I just got around going, "No, you've got them in the wrong place." She's an engineer, though. She just went on auto, like.
Yeah, whatever.
No, it made sense. Trust me, it made sense.
Alan said, I know a movie you'll like, Hayden Bronson. The character looks like you, lol. Sadly, outside of baldness, I don't look at all like... What's his name? He's in everything. Tom Hardy. There we
Tom
go.
Hardy,
But
yeah.
Bronson was good. I've read a lot of books about Charles Bronson and things like that. Very interesting and unusual character. And the film was very enjoyable. Someone mentioned the BBC before. They really, really, really shitting the bed panic mode right now. They are, because number 10's doubled down on it. First they spoke, we're just going to decriminalise the licence. It's just going to be a civil matter. And now they're going, do you know what, actually, guys, we might just, abolish the licence fee altogether.
Well, you know what, though? They've been making shite programmes on a fat and insane budget for so many years, and it's finally coming home to roost. And, the media are panicking over it. Oh, the glorious BBC and all that. And it's like, go fuck yourself. You got one of the most popular websites on the planet. Put some fucking ads in the corner. Put a banner ad over the top.
Everyone talks about the impartiality and everything else, but there was some research recently, which everyone will bitch about. I'll have to go and dig it up. Sky News was scored as impartial as the BBC, pretty much. Of
course. Yeah, and you know what really fucks me off about the BBC? If you actually go through their budget, because everyone's going on about, we can't have a subscription and ads and all this. They get a grant from the government for news. They get money for that already. Yeah. And you know what? I wouldn't even be against that. I wouldn't even be against like a ring-fenced... It'd be 5% of what they're getting now. Yeah. Just to have fully impartial news. Sure, a lot of it'd still piss me off, and I wouldn't like the...
But no, I've got no problem. Let's take it out the money they get already. The license fee has got to go.
Yeah, they could lose the license fee and still function. It's a fucking joke. And people are going on about a fucking subscription and all this and how it serves people. Well, it's only pensioners that watch it at this point. Huh. And you know what? Are they really going to mind a few fucking adverts? Really?
No. Of course not. Because the one thing everyone's arguing me on Twitter, and usually from a position of absolute staggering ignorance about what the laws actually are, saying, well, it's voluntary. Only if you don't want to watch any television. What if you want to watch the other free-to-air channels, ITV, Mate, Channel 4, Channel 5, or the 56 Freeview channels that are advertiser-funded? You're not allowed to unless you pay the BBC. And not only that, on threat of prison. On threat of prison to fund a corporation that is in direct competition with private enterprise.
Yeah.
How can this possibly be right or normal?
No, I'm not happy with it. And as someone pointed out, as a lot of people have pointed out, well, I have to pay for schools even if I'm not using them. And like I said to you on Twitter, man, well, I don't agree with that either. I think people that use schools should pay for them.
The thing is, I've actually not got a problem with my tax money going to socially beneficial things. I just don't. Police, fire, NHS, education, because it's for the future, all right? We are part of a society.
I'd accept business rates going towards it, but I think schools would be better served being directly funded by the people that used it. Yeah, I think it'd be cheap. I think it'd be cheaper as well, actually. Yeah, well, that's the thing.
That's fine. I'm saying my opinion is, there's lots of schools that function in areas where the people that use them couldn't possibly afford them.
Oh, yeah.
No, it's true. It's true.
Well, yeah, but but that's the thing of taking it out of the hands of the government and letting them solve those problems. Money would be there. Money would be found. People would fund it.
Like those happy people at food banks, yeah.
Well, the food banks is a whole different situation, isn't it? But at least they get fucking fed and they're not fucking starving. If you put food there, people are going to get it, aren't they? Of course they are. You know full well with that. If you can spend your money on weed and just go get your food for free, of course you're going to fucking do it. I'm not defending food banks.
No,
here,
you are. No,
but,
of course you're not. You're actually attacking them completely.
But I'm talking about.
But you're arguing like all those fucking bellends that go benefit sheets. We shouldn't pay benefits. But when you go and look at the figures, the people cheating benefits are a tiny
reducing
minority.
taxes, though. I'm talking about the government not collecting the taxes to do those things. People would have more money. Everything would be considerably cheaper. It's not. You can't look at it in today's prices now because everything's got fucking tax on it. It's insane at the moment. And you know what? What am I supposed to do about fucking food banks? It's the society we've created. We've destroyed.
No. You're doing what the pricks on fucking Twitter do.
What do?
What I was saying was, there's people out there that work 2 jobs and can still not afford to feed the kids.
Yeah.
They don't buy weed. How are those people then supposed to pay for their kids to go to school?
Because
for
they
the
won't
3
be paying
or
the
4,
tax.
yeah, but
They
3 or 4
already
pounds.
do pay that though. They already do.
But
They
not
pay
as much as they
phenomenal
would be
tax
paying.
rates.
Not as much as they
that's
would
what
be
I'm saying.
paying.
It would be cheaper.
No.
Cheaper.
It would be dearer.
You don't know that. You've got no way of knowing that.
Because everything always is.
No, is it fuck? Are you telling me that when something goes through government, it's cheaper? That's insane. The costs are always higher with government. We don't give a fuck.
But it's spread out amongst the entire tax-paying population. That's the idea. Anyway, my point was, I personally don't have a problem with my taxes going on police, fire, NHS, education, because it's good for the whole country. It doesn't bother me. Things that are important for the country, I've got no problem with my taxation going on that.
Education is important. That's
taxation,
why we shouldn't let government fuck it up any longer.
Taxation, for the purposes of funding a corporation that is in direct competition with private enterprise, needlessly, it's entertainment.
Yeah, no, I get that.
I have
the BBC's
no
an
fucking
sell.
truck with. I have no truck with, and there's absolutely no way that should be happening. You know, but for the idea of people paying, I know people that can't even pay for the kids to have school fucking dinners, but you want them to pay school. They're not even paying tax. They're below the tax threshold.
Of course, they're paying tax. They're paying tax every single time they buy something.
Oh yeah, okay.
There's
VAT.
tax all around them. They're paying tax just to live where they live.
And let me ask you a serious question, Graham. In this utopia of everything's cheaper when it's privatised, everything. Do you think?
If it's
let me finish, you ignorant prick.
Go on.
Have a bit of fucking patience. You're getting very. It's this tea you're drinking, isn't it?
No.
It's this tea. It's me. You're angry. Do you think the government would go? Right. Okay. Well, that 0.85% of your tax that goes towards that, we're just not going to collect off you now. Do you think that's what the government would do?
Well, no, obviously. But that's what I'm not saying this government right now. This government right now would just walk away and let you pay it. I'm saying everything that gets collected for schools, stop collecting it. Obviously.
Anything else we shouldn't pay for? Is there anything else we shouldn't pay for?
Almost everything. We've been over this so many times, Aidan.
Oh yeah, I forgot about your idea that people on every street should pay for their own street lights.
Look at HS2. They can't even build a fucking railway without it spiraling up to 100 billion. Do you think if that was a genuine private enterprise, it'd cost that much? Even close to that?
It just wouldn't happen if it was a private enterprise. It's not a profitable endeavour.
Good. I shouldn't be happening.
I agree 100%. That money they could have spent, I think it's 6 to 8 times less by building another line alongside the West Coast line, doubling the capacity. It would be an hour slower, but I could live with that. That's what we should have done. HS2 was a fucking calamitous idea. It was stupid. Governments have lots of stupid ideas. Millions of stupid ideas.
All the time.
One after the other after the other.
Including with our schools. How do you need another 50 years of them running them into the ground? Terrible education before you go, do you know what? Yeah, maybe it is time to get them out of it. You know, like they've had the chance. There's been no.
Okay, but have you seen the price of private school?
Yeah, but of course I've seen the price of private school.
So let's say it's half that.
But
let's say it's £500 a term.
No, you wouldn't. But it would cost what people can afford. That's the whole point. It would. If you've got hundreds and hundreds of kids in a school, split between the parents, split between other companies making donations, split between private taxation from business rates, you could easily get the money there. Easily.
See, I'm in a bit of a different predicament to you. I don't trust the government.
Yeah.
And I don't trust private enterprise terribly well either.
So what's the school going to do then? Charge so much that kids can't go and just go bankrupt? Is that what it's going to do? Just sit there going, oh well, you know.
Oh no,
is it gonna
I
cost
think
what
we'll
it
have I
costs?
think we'll have a far better idea with lobbyists. What they'll do is they'll say this is what it is. It will be at the very limits of what people could possibly afford, depending on the area that they're in. And there would also be legislation put in place that if you do not send your children there, if you do not, you'll be prosecuted. And furthermore, what will then happen is for the poorest people. Let me finish.
Schools, then, is it?
For the poorest people in society, the government will give grants to the private industry to fund poor children to go. And what the fucking hell was that?
Or businesses would, or whatever.
The government will do it, and when that happens, private
Why?
business will bleed them dry because that's what they do.
But
You're
that
not
is
going to go
the
backwards.
exact opposite of
Yeah,
what I've
but
just
you
been
might
advocating for.
as well say they should bring in leprechauns and fairy dust
What?
because it's never going to fucking happen.
How can you not imagine a world where the government doesn't have full control of the education system? How is it possible that you can't imagine that? It's
I
just
can
like,
imagine lots of
why
things.
not? Why the hell not?
I can imagine it. I think it's about as likely as me finding a fucking magical being sat on a toadstool above me.
They already do this in America, and the private schools cost half as much to run. The government schools cost more than anything. They're ridiculous. They're money pits, and they have the worst outcomes. There's no the problem in this country, when we talk about getting government, we talk about private ownerships. We just come up with this bullshit academy thing, which is just a reworking of the same thing with a load of private individuals just siphoning money out the system then, which isn't getting the government out of it.
You're not going to get the government are not going to get out of fucking
completely.
anything. The government are going to increasingly get into every aspect of our fucking lives. That is exactly what is going to happen.
That's why I sit here talking the way I do.
I know.
That's why to everyone, to
I know,
every
and I
fucker
love it.
meet,
I love it when you get
and
excited.
it's the only way to do it. And what, so, you know, you might as well say that, you know, paedophiles are always going to fuck kids, so let's just, you know, not complain about it. Of course I'm going to fucking talk about it. I'm going to talk about everything.
I've not told you not to talk about it.
And I honestly think the best
Dude,
thing
you are
for schools
speaking
is to
like
get
some prick
government
off
out.
Twitter. How dare you erase my opinion?
No, that's
I'm
not
going
what I
to
said. I
talk.
didn't
I'm not
say
trying
how
to
dare
stop
you
you
erase
talk
my-
because if you stop talking about it, I wouldn't get to hear you getting high pitched on the trigger
You're
warning
putting words
show.
in my mouth now. You're putting words in my mouth.
I'm
And if you
sorry.
just-
I'm going to convince everybody else of them as well.
No, well, you're not though, are you? You're not. If you're saying that, I sound like someone off Twitter. That's not an argument at all.
No,
That's
it's an observation. I'm not arguing.
Literally nothing. It's just ad hominem nonsense. And you know, and I can make a point, and it's like, well, it will never happen. It's like, well, it won't. If you know, it will never happen or insult. But there's no thing there.
Your entire scenario requires a private industry that has more scruples than we've seen any evidence of. What we're stuck between is a rock and a hard fucking place. It would be ideal if government weren't involved in most aspects of our life outside of protection in terms of military and policing and things of that nature. Things where you don't want private companies involved. Because the idea of G4S in charge of prisons and shit like that, terrible idea, because you do end up with a situation like America where people are getting banged up for all kinds of ridiculous shit.
Yeah, prisons can't be profit. That's
No.
It's insanity.
So I agree almost completely. But I also know that private companies will invariably gouge everybody and then gouge the government, which will bring the government back into it. Because if you say, okay, we're pushing the government out of it, therefore you can't compel people to send their children to school.
Do I need the government to tell me what the best graphics card is for the price and power that I have to get?
No, but some
my
people
price range?
do need the
Do I
government
need the government to
some
say
people do need the government to tell them to send their kids to school.
What? But do I need the government to tell me which school has got the best outcomes? Which school is the best price for me? Do I need that at all? No, I don't. I can see with my own eyes. Right now, we've got a system that just, Ofsted, it's nonsense. The whole thing is complete nonsense. It's not actually like, none of it is linked to people actually getting jobs, employability, or salaries once they leave. None of that is considered at the moment. It's just how diverse they are in their teaching standards and all the rest of it. None of it is actually good. They all have like good and excellent Ofsted written on the sides of them and everything, and it doesn't mean a fucking thing.
No, I
don't need
can't.
that.
I can't say I've ever really gone by Ofsted. I go by what my son brings home.
Yeah, well, I picked my daughter's school based off speaking to people in the area that were older and had experience of different schools in the area, and I went and looked at all the rest of it. But that's what you should be doing as a parent. I mean, but the government didn't come into it in the slightest. I didn't give a fuck what they had to say about any of it in terms of me choosing. Why should I?
I'm not entirely sure where anyone's told you should.
But that's the point. So the thing is, right? You're talking about unscrupulous. If there's an unscrupulous arsehole running a school,
Oh no, it won't be
will
one
fail.
school. That's not how it works, and you know full well that's not how it works.
What?
It'll be one
That's-
company that will own about 60 to 70% of the schools, and they'll set the prices. And then
they
the
won't go
government,
bankrupt?
no, of course, well, no more than any other company that tries to monopolise like that does. And not only that, it means standards probably might improve in some areas and others depending upon funding, because they'll still go from government funding for the kids who can't afford to go. And no matter what we say, there will always be people, whether genuine or not, that can't afford it, say they can't afford it. But if government aren't involved, what happens to them? What happens to those kids?
What, the absolute poorest of the poorest poor?
Yeah.
Well, we could help the absolute poorest.
Okay,
of the
so
poor,
we
of
would
course
let
we could.
government get involved at that point.
No. The schools let them in. I went to grammar school because the grammar school let me go there.
Yeah, okay,
It wasn't like a thing. They
So
themselves.
okay, no,
let
I
me
get
go
it.
there.
All right, so let's take this then. Let's look at an area, East Manchester.
Mm-hmm.
Grammar schools let the occasional exceptional pupil in, don't they?
Yeah.
Okay. Let's say you got a school that's got a capacity of 600. 400 of the kids fall below the line that can pay for it.
Okay.
Who's going to pay for them? The school aren't going to just let them in.
It's going to go out of business then. It's not the business model.
Right, so where do the kids go in that area for the schooling? Where do the kids get schooled?
We sort it out as human beings. We don't need the government to sort that out for us. There'd be entirely new models. There'd be whole new models of things. There'd be schools that would be converted big houses that would be just for 2 years and stuff like that. There's stuff to fit what we have, in the same way that when you have got genuine competition and genuine freedom, other models come out of it, things that actually work. It wouldn't be these. Right now, the only reason we have schools the way they are is just to get as many kids off the streets as we can all day, just out the way in the same place. That's all it is. Not the way they're built right now isn't to benefit the kids. It doesn't help them at all, the way that they're herded in like that. It's a nonsense. And you know what?
Okay, no, hang on, stop. I've got to get this one step at a time. So what we'll do, so I'm trying to sort this out in my head, because I'm trying to have a reasonable debate while you're getting excited.
Yeah, no, I get that, and it's nice you're not just name calling now.
I'll get back to that. Don't worry, I'll get back to that. We've got this school in the poor area that will go out of business.
Yeah.
But we will sort it out.
Yeah.
How will we sort it out for the kids that can't afford to go to school and there's no government funding, because you don't want the government involved in school?
So between 400 parents and an entire community around them, you're telling me they can't sort it out? You're telling me they just can't do it?
I'm telling you they won't.
Fucking serfs.
I'm telling you they won't.
Well, that's wonderful that you can mind read 400 parents.
I can, because I've been to that community.
Why?
No one gives a fuck about anybody else down there. Okay,
maybe that's because everything's taken care of by the fucking government for
dude,
them, and they are bred into having no agency and no decision making and no actual investment into the communities that they have. They're brought up that way. Just families year after year on benefits.
So all we need to make your method work is a complete sea change in the way that society thinks, an eradication of government, and the belief that 1,000 different companies running schools would all run them to a standard that's where what if a group of 40 parents got together and thought the kids should be taught about fucking dogs? Or, hey, the kids don't have to learn as long as they're in school and they just, they can learn by expressive dance.
That's where we are right now, Hayden. They're coming
No,
out of
no, we're
school.
not.
They can't even tell the time. That's where we are now. They're already being failed.
Yeah, but my kid
What you're
goes to
talking
my
about
kid.
is
One
where
sec.
we
No,
are
no,
now.
you're arguing by exception again because. Well, I'm about to do it.
No, your kid is the
school.
exception.
No, the kids in my school, his class. They're 7. They've just been learning about Russia and things of that. They learn actually a very interesting mix of the practical stuff like mathematics, English language, then about the world. This is just a state school. This is nothing except, well, it's an academy, actually.
No, I get it.
But it's a state school. Do you know what? They learn a very interesting and very mixed. The kids around at St. Stephen's, the Catholic school, which I wouldn't send my kid to because it's a religious school. I don't agree with religious schools. If it's a state school, it should be non-secular, in my opinion. But St. Stephen's, really varied, interesting curriculum. So it's very hard for me to say state schools, all these kids are leaving with nothing, but clearly there's a problem at a lot of them, and it's down to the dedication of the teachers and the headmasters, primarily, rather than just the curriculum, because they all work under the same national curriculum. Yet some teachers make it work, some not so much. Sometimes it's dependent on the area that it's in. So what we need for your idea to work, which, by the way, in theory is truly a wonderful idea, but what we need is a complete change in the way society thinks and works.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But it doesn't happen overnight. You couldn't just switch.
I'm not sure it happened in 1,000 years.
You couldn't just flick a switch tomorrow and have it done like that. Of course you couldn't. And the thing is, like you said earlier, the government, they don't want to lose control of it. There's the many thousands of people getting fat government checks.
Not only that, look what
for administrating
government are trying to do. They recently announced, didn't they? Right, I was going to say Ofsted then. That's entirely the wrong organisation. Ofcom. We're now going to monitor the internet for illegal material, child pornography. More worryingly, terrorist material. Tricky.
Sorry. Hayden,
Yeah.
1 second. Blind Fury, we're not fighting, mate. This is just
how we
talk,
talk, dude.
Don't worry, everything's fine. We're gonna go off and be like, mate, I really enjoyed that.
Don't worry, we do.
Blind, we're not fighting. This is fine.
No, this is what's interesting about the show for me.
Yeah, you, if no one pisses all over your ideas, then your ideas aren't worth having.
They're untested, aren't they?
But sorry, you were talking about the
look at the thing we've arrived at.
Of Ofcom.
But look at what we've arrived at there. The thought that this would require a sort of change in society. That it would need. The irony is, of course, it would need government intervention to bring about the change, which would mean a government moving in that direction. However, that would require a government that believed it should have less power.
Yeah, and the only time we've had that in living memory was MEPs trying to get out of Europe. It's very, very hard to vote for someone who would very happily get rid of their own job. It almost doesn't exist. So I don't have any faith in any of them. I defend capitalism, and then it was like, you fucking Tory, and it's like, you are insane. I'm sure there's individual Tories who are wonderful people, and I'd enjoy spending time with. Genuinely, there'll be decent people on all sides. Of course there is. But as an organisation, as a mindset, fuck off. They're raising taxes at the moment. We've talked about this before.
Of course they are.
The dirty Conservatives with the tax cuts and all that. It hasn't happened, and it doesn't happen. Apart from fuel, for some reason, they keep it down on fuel because they get so many votes out in the country, don't they? They're keeping them happy.
Well, they had to make it illegal in this country to protest fuel rises. Because a lot of people abroad won't know when it originally went over £1 a litre, and it's now way over that. People supported a blockade of the refineries, which meant the country ground to a halt. And for over a year, prices were capped on fuel until the government could successfully make it illegal to do that sort of thing again, preventing the people rising up in their own way. It doesn't change.
I just did a quick Google then. 23rd of December is the first thing that came up. It was £1.24 £1.24
£1.24
for a litre. I remember do you remember it was like up to 150 You know, it was crazy, that, wasn't it? That's when it was getting. I think for a lot of people, I don't live in that world because I live in Manchester, but I think there's probably going to be a lot of people out in the country that can still remember it because it'd be more out in the country, it'd be more expensive, won't it?
Oh yeah. But I remember that fuel embargo very well. You know, I got one of the last garages. It was quite far from here that had fuel. I filled up, and then after you couldn't fill up. There was a maximum amount you could take. And after that you just parked the car up. That was it. Nobody went anywhere. It was quite nice. It was really quite nice. It was very quiet. You know. But yeah, they made it illegal for us to do that. But yes, Ofcom. The government said they were going to allow Ofcom to monitor illegal and terrorist material and harmful material.
Yes. There was the because you get there, you go illegal, and you're like, okay, I mostly agree with that. You know, there's a few things where Section 127 of the Communications Act and all that, but illegal, I get that, and then terrorist, obviously, and then they're like harmful. It's like, well, what the fuck does that mean?
Well, I think what happened? They announced it in the morning, and apparently, Alphabet, the artist previously known as Google, Facebook, Twitter, all had a chat, and by that afternoon, the government went, "We're dropping the harmful bit. We're just going to drop that."
Maybe it was one of them where they explained just how difficult that would be. Just like, look, we've been trying this for 10 years now, and we just keep fucking it up.
I get the impression that they're trying to do the Trump thing of I'm just going to say a load of shit and see what sticks. And if people fight really hard, if there's a lot of kickback to one thing, I'll just let that go.
Yeah. The Tories are a fucking nightmare for that at the moment, with that fucking bridge they were going on about and all this stuff. And it's just like, yeah, it does feel like a half-assed version of what Trump does. You're right, where they're just throwing it all out there. And there's so much noise, I've started ignoring it, which is exactly what they want, isn't it?
Yeah, of course. And that's when they get a load of other shite through because you weren't paying attention because you were too busy talking about a fucking bridge from Ireland to Scotland.
Yeah. Well, it just wouldn't work with the food and they're just like that, because that's what he does. Whenever he passes, Trump did a massive immigration bill that was like turning away 90% of the people at the border of Mexico. It was literally like, and it was bringing it in so that if you didn't stop at the first safe country, you were automatically done unless you'd been refused by that country. And it meant that most of the people at the border, it was like, fuck off, back to next door to where you came from. And at the same time he was doing that, he told some woman on Twitter to go back where she came from or some nonsense like that, and everyone was just losing their fucking mind whilst he was just signing the new immigration policy.
It's the way they've always done it,
Yeah, but he's a
9/11.
He's a master at it.
Yeah, I can't remember which thing, but loads of legislation was passed in the aftermath of 9/11. Just shoved through because no one was paying attention. That's what they do. Ellie Larkin is wondering why no one's asking questions. Do you have opinions? The questions, we're not the fonts of all knowledge. But, if you have any, direct them. If not, just talk amongst yourselves. You've muted your mic, Graham. Couldn't hear you.
I was going to say, it'd be a nice change from calling me a fat idiot.
You are, well, yeah.
which was the perfect timing of calling, like, going, I'm not an idiot with my mic muted. Not an idiot. What are you on about? Fuck off.
Yeah, the Patriot Act was a cracker that came out of 9/11.
Yeah, that's the first one that came to mind.
Cup of Tea's just asked Ellie a question. Ellie, have you watched Ford versus Ferrari yet? What were your thoughts on it? We really liked it.
I loved it, man. I'm going to watch it again soon. I really, really enjoyed it. And that was despite having my daughter just fucking jumping on me. Jumping.
Do you know what I watched?
What?
It's just come back onto Netflix. Pitch Black.
Vin
Diesel.
Yeah, Vin Diesel.
Yeah,
he's got the
from
eyes.
20 years ago. I went to the cinema with Tim, the drummer from my old band. We used to go every week because the cinema I sound like such an old man, but it was only like 20 years ago, 15, even up to 10 years ago. The cinema was like £3.50.
Yeah.
Now when I go with Junior, I'm 50, 60 quid in.
I know. I spent 50 quid yesterday at the cinema.
It's scandalous. It's scandalous.
Just because she wanted the big popcorn and all. I was just like, how the fuck am I? And then she wanted
that film,
to stay. I was like,
that film, it's not a great film. Okay, I'm not saying it's great. But it hasn't aged too badly at all. Hasn't aged too badly at all. Remind me of the days when I had a dark-coloured beard. Ellie's fired back with, I'm 62, married and awake, not realising. You could have said 82 with one leg and no eyes. Half of the incels in this chat would still be crawling all over you. I'm sorry, I'm just reading the... Good movie sequel is bad, says Blind Fury. I didn't mind the sequel either. I'm not very demanding. I like really good films, but to be honest, I'm not terribly demanding when it comes to watching films. I like everything's so stressful. I like to just sit down and just watch something, you know, like just. I watch films like a child. I just absorb them. If there's subtext in them, it will go unnoticed. It will go completely unnoticed.
Speaking of that, Parasite, man, I tried to watch that. I mean, I watched it in its entirety, but I think so many people had said it was this life-changing, you know, best film they'd ever seen that my hopes were way too high for it. I was like, it was all right. It was okay.
I've not even thought about watching it because it's not an action movie.
Yeah, there's not a lot of action in there, man.
No action, no zombies. Not interested.
He did a Netflix one with a big pig thing that was kind of okay as well, and it's a similar sort of vibe of like it was okay, it was all right, but Topperoomer's just mentioned the Expendables.
Nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that. When Stallone stabs that guy in the throat, it's no Rambo 4 or 5.
Have you seen though? Stallone had an idea for the sequel where he wanted it was called Expendables Go to Hell, where they literally actually all died. You know, like the plane gets blown up, and they all wake up in hell. And it's exactly, yeah. I was like, how did you not get that made?
One of his treatments for Rambo 5 was that he was chasing a genetically modified mutant monster, and for some reason that didn't pan out either. Instead, we got 1 hour of pretty poor film, and then half an hour of cinematic splendor.
It was nice.
It was splendid. The ending of Rambo 5, the last 20 minutes, half hour.
Dude, Avid Lips just asked if we're going to have... Oh, he asked earlier if we're going to have Skype on, but I don't know if
Probably not Thursday. We've got so much to do on Thursday when we get in there. We've got new lights to set up, because I scored some amazing lights for so cheap.
The strippy ones?
Yeah. If you look them up, guys, Photon Beard lights, these things cost like £600 per unit.
Yeah.
I managed to score 3 units, and they're not even stolen.
No.
Because the guy that's got them is a professional photographer, really cool guy, actually. We got all 3 for £100 on eBay. We've done really well, you know, buying the new kit in, because obviously we've stressed over every single fucking purchase, because it's not, you know, people trusted us with that money, but we've done really well. We've got a lot of really good kit, so we've got no excuses, especially once the weather picks up, for not getting out and doing a hell of a lot more.
I really want to. We will do. Like we said with you guys as well, we're going to need volunteers, definitely, because if we're winding people up, be good to have a few friends kicking about, I reckon, just in case.
I'll get my new Polish mate from around the corner.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm sure he'd love it.
Just because my son plays with his son, he goes in his house. We've nodded at each other a few times, but today he said, "Do you want a coffee?" So we're like housewives now. Well, housewives just come around for coffee, and I found he's a fascinating guy. He does like personal security.
Yes. Yeah.
And he was some kind of like combat sport champion back in Poland and things. So very interesting guy. My new friend. And of course, there's the other new chums that we made, who is the director of Krav Maga in the UK, which I can't wait to tell people the outcome of that one. Oh, that's going to be so good. And
I need to get on a bit of that soon, don't I?
Well, I might be seeing them at the end of the week. If I do, I'll get the details for that hammered out. Obviously, there's a couple more important things to hammer out, but I will also hammer out the details, and maybe next Thursday we can announce it.
Ask him if he has any like mortal enemies. You like the way like the Karate Kid. There was that other dojo the rival dojo that hated him. Ask him if he's got any rival dojos that hate him, so I can go to them and be like, mate, you need to train me up, or I'm gonna get killed. Oh, by the way, it's for Joe, and they'll go, Joe.
I'm going to say, given that he's the director of
He
Krav
must
Maga,
have a nemesis that would be willing to embarrass him by training me up.
oh, that made that go down the wrong way.
Just casually, have you got any nemesis?
Oh yeah, great. So they're going to think, finally, we found the weapon that we can defeat them
Yeah.
with.
Me just coming in.
Oh fuck it! I've got to tell everyone. Fuck it. There's only 50 people here. That's fine. It's between us. You know, ages ago, Graham said he could beat any woman in the ring. I've been talking to the guys at the local Krav Maga martial arts school. We're going to make a film for them. Might be doing some other bits. I said, listen, the guy I do these shows with has said he can beat any woman. Can we make this happen? And he said, this is a quote. Yeah. He said, in fact, there's 2 girls I've got in mind, and they throw men around like rag dolls. And when I said to him, look, I don't want him really hurting, because he's my mate and he does the shows with me, but a bit of snoring, he's fine. And the smile on he looked so happy. And he said, oh, I think we can sort that out. So, hopefully, at some point in the next few months, maybe give him 5 months to train, there will be a fight between Graham and some highly trained female martial artist. I mean, really highly fucking trained.
At a level that I couldn't possibly catch up on, no matter how hard I worked.
But I want you to know something, Graham, and I promise you this. I've got faith in you, and at no point will I throw the towel in. Just so you know.
I'm telling you, man, I've got it. Don't you worry, man. It might look bad, but it's just me playing the game.
I'm not worried in the least. I've got nothing to lose in this scenario, I'll be honest with you.
I can't wait. I just want to do trash talking videos leading up to it.
Dude, she is going to rupture your spleen.
Yeah, I need a name as soon as possible so I can start calling her out.
I like that. That's positive thinking.
Hey man, I'm all about the pre-fight hype.
What we have to remember though is that whoever they find is not a friend of ours. So, I mean, how angry do you want to make a martial arts expert?
Well, angry enough to make mistakes, obviously.
Oh yeah, that's what they'll do. Yeah. I see you're playing a psychological game.
Yeah, man.
It's got to be fucking great.
It's going to be so good. It's going to be so good.
I'm going to have to beg him to play with you for a bit.
We'll get the proper movie out the way first.
Yeah.
With them. I'm really looking forward to that, actually. Like, supporting a business, which, by the way, you people have facilitated by helping us get the camera.
These guys do a lot for the community. A huge amount for the community. They won an award for it, as it happens. And, it's going to be great doing something for them. That will, obviously, the work will come back as well. Everything's sort of reciprocal. But we've got to cut our teeth and get back to the corporate side, because that will fund not only us but also Trigger Warning. Because Trigger Warning needs to fund itself, and we can't just keep asking. We have to find a way of making it self-sustaining as well, while still being able to sustain our own lives. And we'll do whatever it takes to make that happen. Oh, yeah.
It is nice paying it forward, though, isn't it?
Oh, it's brilliant. It's brilliant, because everyone's been so kind to us. And by the way, if you do want to support Trigger Warning, and so many have already shown us tremendous generosity, you can go to patreon.com/triggerwarningtv and become one of our patrons. Which, by the way, it all looked lost, but now the new patron scheme is gonna happen, as is the next meet space. And you can also go to the GoFundMe if you want to throw something in there, or just send it to the PayPal, whatever works for you guys. If you want to financially support the project, if you don't or can't, both are fine. Times are bad, Share the links. Give us a like. Click like. It takes a couple of seconds, but it really helps us. If you're not already, subscribe. Touch the bell. Do all the shit you gotta do. Every little bit helps. All your support, and it's been amazing, especially since the burglary. Genuinely, we were touched by not just the money that people donated, just the messages of support and everything else. It meant a huge amount.
We went from being like, well, that was fun, maybe we can do a few hookups on a Tuesday still to, but basically being like, oh well, that's that done then. So just like, fucking hell, we're gonna build a desk. We're gonna build a trigger warning desk. We could even think about what goes behind us for once as well.
And it is going to happen. It won't happen all at once. What happened by this Thursday? But we've got options going forward for the show now, and there's other things we've got to do outside of the studio as well to make that happen. Gosh, how exciting. But guys, it's time. It's time to say goodbye. But do join us on Thursday for our first show back in the studio. Last week doesn't count. That was just us messing around.
Yeah, ignore that.
But definitely join us Thursday, 10 p.m. GMT, UK time, proper time. And come join us. We're back in the studio. I cannot wait because this keeping my voice down shit is killing me.
Oh, I suspect I'm probably going to get told off after this.
As you should. You're so fucking loud.
Noisy tonight, Graham.
So loud and over emotional. It's not becoming.
I'm trying really hard to keep my emotions down. I've just seen a thing about the NHS bringing in new rules to not treat racist or sexist patients, and I'm just like, excuse me, what? Like, that's one of those things where the devil's in the fucking details, you know? Because, like, fair enough, if someone's aggressive or violent, yeah, get them the fuck out of there. But what exactly is sexist? What? Motherfuckers.
What someone wants to... Robert Morgan says you should take a dive when you touch gloves.
just go over, yeah.
And Topperoon says your safe word will be Hayden.
Hayden. Well, we were talking about it, weren't we? We were going to have a fixed cam and then have you mobile with, like, a steady cam kind of set up, but have it on like a high frame rate so we can do slow
motion. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
I think we do 60 frames a second. So that's 40% more enjoyment of you getting knocked the fuck out.
Yeah. So we can really see my face on every punch and every and the begging at the end, the begging for it to stop. I'm sorry.
It's just, how do I get those shots when I'm laughing my tits off, though?
I know. Well, if she can get me in a decent hold, I'll be begging for a good while, and she'll be able to control the pressure.
Oh, that would be fantastic.
You'll you. In fact, that's what you'll hear on the foot. That's what you'll hear. You'll just hear you going, "Hold him, hold him, hold him."
Hurt him.
Because you've already spoke to her before, and when you get him at the end, just keep him there so I can get a good nice shot of his.
Oh yeah, I want to meet her long before the fight, so I can outline what's acceptable damage and what isn't. As long as they leave you one arm and one eye, I'm happy. That's why I asked Soph, will you still love him when his nose is along one side of his face and his spleen's broken?
No, yeah, I think that to her was just part of the same noise. Because when she does occasionally get tagged in that nonsense, she's just like, oh, for fuck's sake, don't care what you're going on about now.
She wasn't very committed to her answer, though, if I'm honest, Graham. She's kind of like, maybe, But you got to suffer for your art, dude.
Dude, we spent the whole thing and we didn't talk about the fair cop dude, Harry Miller. We'll have to talk about Thursday.
We'll do that on Thursday. It is a big deal, apart from the fact that the judge was very careful not to step on too many toes when he let him go. Didn't quite get the bollocks out and give it the big one, sadly. But he's all right. That's what matters. He's all right. So we'll talk about that on Thursday. I will have.
Talk about on Thursday. Definitely a step in the right direction.
I'll definitely fix that on Thursday. 100%.
Test the boundaries of these new police guidelines that are going to be.
I went to check YouTube before because I'm not looked, and he said you submitted your appeal for monetization on the 10th of January.
Yeah,
we'll get back to you within a month. It's the 18th of February.
Yeah, that's what they do now. That's what they do. Rather than they just leave you in, don't you? Still under review, apparently. It's amazing how they've not got round to us yet. They got round to us so quickly the first time. It was amazing. And then you're definitely at the back of the queue, aren't you?
Oh, yeah. Oh, we were right at the front of the queue for getting it taken off us.
You're right, by the way. You're right, Fat Belly. Even after he won the case, the BBC said it was transphobic comments, even though the case ruled he wasn't being transphobic. And again, people go, well, the BBC does piss off both sides, so it's obviously doing its job right. And it's like, well, Yeah, but it's not though, is it? There's very much a sort of semi-woke bias there, isn't there? Where they're going, well, he was being transphobic and he got away with it. That's framing.
Do you know, that reminds me, when I did that, just because we've all got anecdotes that we've all told 20 times before, when I gave that talk in Copenhagen, and I showed a video, and it's just to show how easily people can be manipulated. This was a room full of professors and journalists and things. It was the Flandorg massacre video of American soldiers shooting people getting out of a car. And I gave them three options. I think was, the Americans brutally murdering innocent civilians, blah, blah, or terrorists. And a lot of them chose murdering innocent civilians. So a little later on in the talk, I told them, actually, these guys were all armed. They were going to commit a terrorist attack. Then after that, I showed them a clip showing them armed. At the end of the talk, I said, are there any questions? And one woman raised her hand and said, about that video where the American soldiers shot those civilians. The people convinced themselves, and that's what the BBC did. Never mind that I told them this wasn't the case, that I showed them this wasn't the case. The truth is decided very, very quickly.
Yeah.
And it's always, the truth is always the thing you like the most.
But this is why it's very, very important that this Harry Millwall thing carries on, because currently there's 76,000 people in this country who have got non-crime hate incidents attached to their name, which comes up on a CRB check, which is fucking insane.
How do you find out if you've got those? I need to have a look.
I don't know. I guess I don't know how you do it without actually doing the check.
Not that anyone will ever be CRB checking me, but it's not the point.
I mean, you can check yourself. I think
you get more than one?
You actually kind of do check yourself anyway.
How many can you get?
I don't know.
Because I'd like to get a few.
I'd kind of like to have one, because I used to have to do it because of my I was working with vulnerable people. I'd like to get one now to see if, because someone could have just phoned the police, called me racist, and then it's like, oh, hate incident there, non-crime.
I would love to.
I wouldn't even know.
How many videos we got on our YouTube channel now? I've got many thousands of tweets. I would love to find out there's like 200 of these fucking things on my record. I'd ask for a printout.
Yeah. Well, that's what he did. He asked for a printout. They said there's 30 of them, and he said, show me, and they never showed him. They never showed him the 30 tweets. Even when it went to court, they didn't display them, and it's like, well, that's what you put my name down on. That was the basis.
How can you do that?
Because
saying that, I'm asking. You know what we went through with the police? It's all fucking
I
difficult.
know, but it all goes back to the training. It's what they learn now, because you've got these fucking unconscious bias, intersexual knobheads giving training, and it's becoming policy. And people who just used to give out flyers at the train station have now got 100,000 followers on Twitter. So the government's getting them in to make policy, so that they then say on Twitter, this is great policy. And it's the whole thing is a hollow mess. And they are literally, all the police are doing are following the training. But it's a joke. It's a fucking joke. You need to get don't get diversity out of the police. Of course, the police needs to be diverse, but get diversity training out of the police. It's insane. It doesn't
also,
work.
It's very attractive to the police given their budget cuts, which are ridiculous.
Well,
it's very attractive for them to go after soft targets that can boost the figures.
Of course, and they just do what they do. I was trying so hard to explain this to someone who was just holding on to this hate crime. Hate crimes are going up. Hate crimes are going up, and it's like, yeah, because the police are investing millions in advertising hate crimes. They're recording them for dog shit.
See, I hear this a lot. After Brexit and that bullshit fucking leaflet that was posted that someone said was stuck on a door in flats, and I still believe that society in this country is more tolerant, understanding and welcoming now than at any point in the past. And it continues apace. Because now we got to the point where we have to stretch the laws of hate to find hateful people.
Yeah.
We have to constantly redefine it to the point where it's any kind of discussion. You know, it's like I was told I wasn't allowed to discuss the trans issue and erase people's lives. It's like I can't erase people's lives. If I could, I might, but I can't. I'm just giving my... Well, no one cares about your opinion. Well, clearly it's fucking bothering you. You know, it's just an opinion. Ignore it. Mute me. Why, you know, you should be cancelled now. Just mute me. Just don't listen to me. It's like that Nick Fuentes.
Oh, yeah. Awful.
I got shit from some guy in America who calls himself a comedian because I put, look, I think Nick Fuentes is an absolute bellend. And I do.
He is.
He's a
Yeah,
shocking
prick.
bellend. But I don't believe he should have been banned.
No, not at all.
And
Of
not
course
only that, I don't know what it achieves. Now, some people on left argued with me about what it achieves. And of course, it achieves nothing. Look, InfoWars, that did nothing but good for Alex Jones.
Yeah.
But this comedian in America had a pop at me because I called him a bellend, but they said I didn't defend the band somehow. You know, basically, I think I shat on his man crush a little bit. But it's weird, like, you just can't win. Because the people on the right are like, how dare you not agree with him?
How do you say his second name? Is it Nick
Fuentes.
Nick Fuentes. He came into existence and gained popularity because of censorship, because you got rid of the likes of Alex Jones. He filled that gap. His main selling point is like, we're not going to self-censor anymore. We're not shutting up anymore. That's literally why he's popular. And these sort of crazy far leftists that are like, you know, like, oh, there's a victory. We've got rid of Tommy Robinson now. There's another bigot gone. And it's like, you don't realize you're just creating him, and he's worse and he's more extreme. And he's everything that you perceived about the old person.
Well, we've just seen a comment. Just seen a comment. He's he's good. He's banned from YouTube. This is from Train Bomb. He's not mainstream anymore and can't brainwash 12-year-olds. And how many 12-year-olds do you think actually watch Nick Fuentes? How many in the real world where we all live? How many 12-year-olds do you honestly believe would watch Nick Fuentes on a platform that also has unboxing videos and fucking retards with blue hair playing computer games?
But this is exactly it. I think you're demonstrating exactly what I'm saying, Train Bomb. Nick being gone doesn't mean it stopped. Someone else will slide right in his place.
Cup of Tea has just pointed out
away.
that kids prefer watching alleged sexual predators like Onision. You know, I didn't know who he was until that Chris Hansen thing kicked off. Because that Josh Pescatore, who used to work with Keemstar, followed me. I followed him back. And occasionally he's explained to me what the young people do on YouTube. This Onision is one creepy motherfucker. But somehow we're happier that some fucking Fruit Loop that mostly appealed to people far older than him, okay, and he did, was somehow 12-year-olds are safe. Because that's what 12-year-olds do on YouTube, Graham. They go and look for white supremacists to watch.
Well, here's the thing, man. Just all the thing about YouTube rabbit holes, it's all been debunked. YouTube does not radicalize people. It isn't a thing at all.
Not only that, there's one really important thing. There'll always be the odd exception. Some kid raised in a house where it's acceptable and all that. Overall, what 12-year-old would stumble onto one of his videos and go, shit, this is good. He's right.
The thing is, though, man, the same, even if he did, right, even if he did, and he's there going, because he's a Holocaust denier, aren't they? That's one of his big things. And he's quite persuasive with it. When you watch,
he's just another scumbag Holocaust denier. They're all the same.
He is, but you know what? All the same people that were enjoying that and going, oh, that's a reasonable point now, they're just going to go on the same thing. And the same guy who's saying the exact same ideas is going to say, this is why they banned Nick. Yep. They don't want you to hear the truth. That's what they're going to be saying.
That's it.
And it reinforces it and it solidifies it. Yeah, you can't talk about this. They're trying to keep the truth down.
Every time.
All it does is legitimize it.
Every single time. Insane. If they're banning me, I must be telling the truth. So I don't agree with the ban, but you know, like I say, that's put me in a predicament because, as usual, I've got the people on the right, or the far right. Let's not mince words here. The real far right, saying I'm a fucking idiot for calling him a bellend, even though I don't support his banning. And the people on the left, or the far left, saying, we agree that he's a bellend, but how can you not support his banning? It's just ridiculous. Everything's fucking mental, and you have to like everyone likes, and ban everyone doesn't, and you can't win unless you adopt one of these ridiculously extreme personalities for yourself.
But you're putting me in a position now where I'm having to defend an arsehole, where I'm having to defend an absolute scumbag. A scumbag that screamed at a pregnant woman in the street. Did you see that video with him, Ben Shapiro?
Yeah, the man's
and fair enough, him and Ben have got beef and all that. But don't walk up to him with a gang of fucking people. You can fuck off, mate.
I mean, I do get, you have to have rules on sites, and sometimes they might not be ones you agree with personally, but it's a business, and it has to run as such. I get it. But what bothers me is the inconsistency now, because they're all saying, there is no bias against Conservatives, we can prove it and all that. But do you know what? There is. And it's there, and we see it all the time. You don't see Antifa getting banned because they're doing their shit for the right reasons.
Yeah, they'll get the odd ones PayPal or whatever because when they specifically express violent intent, sometimes maybe they just to sort of try and make it seem like they're getting everywhere.
Look at Twitter. Look what they get away with on there. Doxing. The same when people kill TERFs, kill this one, kill that. They all get away with it, but you misgender someone, oof, you're fucked.
Yeah, that's the thing. As if there isn't fucking anti-conservative bias. What about the misgendering rule, full stop? Yeah. And you're right, man. All this fucking fuck men, fuck TERFs. Oh, he must be a white guy then. Whoa, all this coming from white people and all this bullshit that's just fine. And you know what? Good, let it be there.
How
it's
come
when
one
they
of them, when we
start
see
allowing
him,
some and not the others?
But when we see him on Twitter, I'll shove my lady dick down your throat.
Oh, the fucking...
And I can't help thinking,
horrible.
If a man said that to a woman, the outpouring of... rightly, the outrage would be huge.
It gets... No. If you're a conservative woman or a conservative black man, it's just like, I hope you get
it's disgraceful.
raped. Fuck you, you coon, all that stuff. It's just horrible,
Smoke
man.
Steve has just asked, would you guys accept him on Trigger? You mean Nick Fuente? I don't know about accept. Would I talk?
What, like an interview?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, of course. But I mean, I don't think he would. But yeah,
I'd talk to him all day and night. But accept him, no. Talk to him, yeah. And I wouldn't just sit there calling him names, because what's the point in that? I might do it a little bit at the end. Graham wouldn't call him any names. Graham would be there going, "You're so right. You're so right.
You're so funny, Nick." you just so... It's just so cute the way you just... Oh, where did you learn to be like this?
You hide your racism so well.
Where did you get that suit? You look gorgeous, I've got to tell you.
Is that your dad's suit, Nick? Is that your dad's suit? Happy Dog says Lady Dick is the best dick.
Probably, yeah. Probably. I mean, it depends on your perspective, doesn't it?
I don't have a massive basis of comparison there, to be honest with you.
At least, it might not have a big airy beer belly above it. If you had to go down there, you might want a pair of boobs to look up at.
To soften the blow.
To soften the blow, yeah. Nice bit of girly perfume, shaved legs.
Blind Fury says you have to talk to people you hate. I'll have almost anybody on the show. I say almost because there are a few people I wouldn't, not because it's just because I wouldn't trust myself to be in any way, shape or form reasonable with them, and therefore why would they come on? And it doesn't look good for us if I just, as soon as someone says hello, I just fucking tear into them and, but I'd give it a shot. I'd even have one of those pedos off Twitter on the show, but I can't imagine them wanting to go on webcam, strangely enough.
No.
Not with me and Graham anyway.
I'm trying to get...
maybe with the kids.
A Labour dude in for an interview, actually. In fact, no, I won't even talk about it because it might fall through, but I was talking to him the other day, like face to face, and he seemed interested. He seemed okay with it.
I got an ex-MP to agree. He used to be
this is an activist, very, very, but he's a clever guy. That's why I want him, because he's actually clever, and it's not just going to be like empty nonsense. He's actually got...
don't worry. I'll if I'm there for that, I'll try my best to turn it into really fucking empty nonsense.
I mean, he's not a dirty socialist.
Because my first question will be, Why do you hate the Jews? What's the fucking problem with the Jews? And you know I'm not a socialist. You're just a fucking luxury
Oh,
communist.
here we are. You're not a socialist, but
You're a luxury communist. That's what you are.
Private ownership of anything is just terrifying.
Yeah,
terrifying concept, isn't it?
No, I'm just not a fucking idiot.
Heaven forbid I go out in the world on my own.
Dude, I've been self-employed for most of my life.
Of course you have.
Yeah. Hang on, you fucking know I have, dickhead.
No, I know, yeah. I know.
I've stood on my own 2 feet all my fucking life. See that? Blokey.
Of course you have.
Still can't fix a fucking car right, you know. I had to get Halfords to put my lad's bike together. Jesus.
I always think with cars, it's something I kind of want to do when I've retired, you know, and which is kind of ridiculous because that's not the time you want to be learning to do that, is it?
Smoke Steve just asked, would you lose your channel if you had Tommy Robinson on? I don't know. We had him on the Live League show.
Yeah, we had him on. That was a different channel, though, technically, wasn't it?
Yes, it was.
I mean, people do have him on. I guess it depends how popular the video was. If it got 10,000 views, he'd probably ignore it. If it got 100,000, then BuzzFeed would probably put a phone call into the mates at YouTube and just be like, "Are you really going to support this kind of hate, regardless of the context?"
Just have to make another fucking channel. Or no, because if you banned that's it, innit? It's fucking it's just off to fucking DTube then, isn't it?
Yeah.
BitChute, whatever.
We need to start doing that though, don't we? The double stream on a legitimate alternative, so that if we ever do get ripped away, we've at least got something that the
ideal for me would be to get the income up to a point where no matter where it comes from, whether it's subscriptions or shows, live events, whatever, to the point where we can just pay for our own hosting. I'd rather have lower views on our own platform. I mean, I was going to say where no one can tell you what to do, but that's not strictly true.
Yeah,
you certainly have a lot more leeway.
We can move back to the live page though on the website. That's a good step in the right direction, isn't it? At least get people back on there, even if we're just ripping the YouTube chat up.
But
for now,
I mean, the weird way around it. We'll have to see what will happen. But first thing, Thursday night, 10 o'clock, we're back in the studio, so do come and join us.
Dude, I've got a babysitter. I'll be down early.
I'm going to be at what time?
I might even be there when other human beings are there, just to get in the vibes.
I'm going to try and get there around 5ish. I think Tez is coming to see us.
Yes, good lad.
So that'd be great. I'll text Cherry.
He's remembered us, Tez, has he? After sacking us off last week. Well,
he had reasons.
He's got now else going on. He might drift down. He might not. Bastard. Broke my heart last week.
I know. We were looking forward to seeing him, weren't we? But he had family shit to deal with.
I was at the window like that, looking for his van.
But he's going to be there on Thursday, so that's brilliant.
That'd be good. That'd be brilliant.
We'll give him one of those mics to carry around.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. We give him a webcam to move himself.
Just a webcam, a microphone, and a Hoover tube.
Slightly different.
Yeah, no, a webcam, a mic, and a Hoover tube. And we'll just let him rock out. Let him do his thing.
We could green screen him and change the background every time we cut to him. So he's just a man.
Another way of doing that's just follow him with the camera for a bit.
I know, yeah.
My favourite during the meat space was when he turned up over my right shoulder.
I know. It was great.
He didn't want to bother me, and I just, what is it? I'm just looking for batteries.
Have you got any batteries? I know, we bought a load of pound shot ones, haven't we? That was a mistake.
No, we're brilliant. Brilliant. There's still some left. Well, there was. They might have been stolen as well, for all I know, But no, we do have to get in early, set up the lights. But people don't need to listen to all this. Guys, we've got to go. We've done an hour and a half. That's not bad.
That was good. I enjoyed it. I really enjoyed it.
I've enjoyed myself. I always do. Whenever you get high-pitched and emotional, I always have a good time. No, I'm not saying that as a negative, dude. Genuinely, it brings me pleasure, so what's the problem? Just be happy. It's the nearest thing you'll get to a fucking compliment.
I like it. I like being able to talk without it being like, right, you're cancelled now, that's it.
Although, strictly speaking, I could do that. Because the stream's going from my computer, isn't it?
Fuck off, Graham.
So I could just replace him like that.
I'll just be like, oh, Graham's run away. That'd be it, wouldn't it? Just cut it off and go.
Oh, there we go. No, that works. I've just muted you and replaced your picture. Oh, that's fantastic.
Yeah.
What? No, that works great. I'll have to remember that. Ah, dearie. Alex says it's always the weeks that Hayden hasn't been up to date on the news that the triggering of Graham begins. It's probably not how it fills the time, doesn't it? Right, we're going. I've had enough. I need to go and just.
I'm going to weed myself
else.
if I don't go soon.
Graham Booth was timed out by trigger warning for 300 seconds. He won't tolerate that language from you.
I'm gonna try and reply and see what happens. What?
Oh no, you got a timeout. That's it.
You've been placed in a timeout by the owner of this video or a moderator. Oh, for fuck's sake! I was calling you a tosser, Aiden, because you cut me off.
Yeah, but
Muted me.
Alex has got my back.
Fucking hell! Won't tolerate that language from you, Pickle. Fuck off, you fucking bastard! I forgot you could do that.
So, guys, have a great couple of days or a day, and come join us on Thursday for a trigger warning. 10 p.m. UK time, right here, youtube.com/triggerwarningtv, providing nothing goes south between now and then. See you there. Yeah. Bye-bye.